My name is Jeff Miller with Simi Computer and IT Solutions, and just wanted to let people know that we also have our next Zoom meeting is at 7, or January 7th.
Yep.
January 7th, 2026.
Come on in.
Hello. Come on in. And the first thing that I want to cover briefly, just because it's still topical, is that Windows 10 is going away. Microsoft is no longer supporting it, which means that you won't get fixes to bugs that they find in the software. So if you've got Windows 10, look to see if you can upgrade it. If you can't upgrade it, then I recommend looking for a new computer. It's just, and if you're looking for a new computer, this is a desktop computer.
No.
Yep. In fact, this sucker is 8 years old. The new ones can be slightly smaller, but this is what you would likely be replacing it with, unless you're a gamer and need a video, or a graphics designer and need a video card. The new ones have decent video, but not like gamer video. So just. And the reason why I carry this around is it's old enough that it does not take Windows 11. So this is what you'll see.
No, interest me.
Yesterday was Patch Tuesday. What that means is Microsoft gives out major Windows patches every second Tuesday of the month. So, hello.
Good afternoon.
Come on in. So, you want to make sure that you're getting your updates, starting the second Tuesday of the month. And it might not show up for your computer for 1 or 2 days because they don't want to hit their servers all at once. But you can always go do a search for update and check for updates and force it if you want to make sure that you get them right away. I would do any Microsoft update except for the previews. I do not personally like the preview updates. While it might be slightly more secure because they fix things sooner, you're kind of playing the guinea pig. I'd rather let other people test it. So, by the time the next Tuesday comes around, anything that doesn't need to be fixed will be in the next Tuesday's, the next Patch Tuesday's patch. So don't do the previews. Let someone else be the guinea pig. And that covers all of the non-cyber scam type of stuff. But I just wanted to get those out of the way. So, 2 sources of intrusion is the bad guys break into your computer somehow over the internet without your action. This is very rare. It's what I handle mostly. Of securing your network, that can be done through hardware and software. So that's something that's fixable, and someone has to be targeting you for that. You have to be important enough that someone is looking to get you or your company or something like that. So breaking in to computers and networks isn't something that happens randomly, and you just have to harden against it. The more of a target you are, the bigger of a budget you should put toward it. Most stuff, though, comes from the victim taking an action. And that's what we'll talk about here, because that's something that you can control yourself. And so most cyber fraud comes through emails. And, gone were the emails nowadays are pretty darn good. It used to be that they would send an email that had such bad English, such bad verbiage and stuff like that, that, if you had 2 brain cells that were talking to each other, you knew that it was fraudulent. And the whole purpose was because they were trying to get you to call them. They didn't want to talk to someone that had any sense of logic. They wanted to filter those guys out because it cost them nothing to send out emails. So they wanted to filter out anyone who actually knew what they were, who knew how to think. So You still see occasionally those with, the really bad English and grammar, but not so much anymore. Because now most of the response systems are automated, so it doesn't cost them anything to get the responses either. So, so now the stuff that you're seeing will look good. If it's from PayPal, so if it's from PayPal, it will look like PayPal. If it's from a bank, it will look like the bank. Because they do a very good job of matching it. The things to look for. First thing to look for is the email address. Not the name on it, the address itself. Does the email address look like it comes from whoever's supposed to be sending it? If it's coming from Wells Fargo, if it's coming from Wells Fargo and goes to someone at some mix of letters and numbers .jp, for some reason Japanese colleges are easy for people to create email addresses on. So you'll see a lot of .jps in there. But it's not from Wells Fargo. So yes.
Can we ask questions or
Sure.
at the end?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
When you're on Facebook and you get these messages, is I really like you, and
I'm sorry.
and
I really like you too.
and I really like to get to know you better. I mean, this crap.
Yeah.
What are they looking for?
They're playing the long game. And most of the time it's like young women, and I'm just putting that
I'm
in
very
quotes,
young.
where they'll send you a picture of someone, and it's usually,
Oh, they're very handsome women.
or,
Always.
the picture is,
Yeah.
the picture is, and it's going to a scammer who, their whole job is to build trust with you. And slowly get more and more information, because if you give them a little bit of information, you're more likely to give them more information. So they'll ask for things that are innocuous first, but they'll ask more and more. And the scam used to be, oh, I'd really like to come meet, can you send me some money for an airplane ticket? Almost none of them do that anymore. But, sometimes it's, but there are variations on, they're looking for information. They're looking for enough information that they can do identity fraud, probably to get into a bank account or something like that. The motives are varied, but they're almost always financial.
And can they go to other people that are on your Facebook that you're friends with and stuff?
They could. I mean, they can. Anyone on Facebook can see who your friends are.
Right. So they
Not
can.
always.
So they
Oh,
want
yeah.
to do that.
Yeah, if-
You can set your privacy settings
Right.
so
Yeah.
that they cannot.
But for most people, yeah.
But a lot of times that they're trying to target you, I don't mean to hijack it, but they're trying to specifically target you. They may friend somebody else or multiple people that you are friends with on your Facebook, so that it looks like
They're friends
they
with
are
you.
friends of a friend, and they look
Right.
honest, innocent, basically.
Yeah.
Because you have friends in common.
And most of them aren't targeting you. Most of them got a list, and they just used a script to throw this out to the list.
Right.
So they're targeting
You're
whoever.
not the only one they like.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're targeting whoever actually responds. That's, they're throwing a bunch of hooks in the water, and are only going to pull on the line if something jerks on it. That's essentially that game, and that's the game with the email. That's the game. They just throw stuff out there and look for a nibble. Because if they get a nibble, then they can start reeling it in.
They text too, right?
What's that?
They text too.
Oh yeah, text. I keep getting those too. And the types of texts go around. I mean, it used to be very common for HOV. You have an HOV fine, pay it now. Here's something far past this point. But if you ever get to the point where they need you to pay them in gift cards,
Right.
no one legit takes gift cards as payment. The old school FBI scam, FBI will come knock on your door if you don't pay them, if you don't pay your fine with X number in gift cards, no. The FBI, one, does not take payment in gift cards. Two, they don't want $2,000. They want a conviction, because that looks good on their resume. But they often would target people with last names that come from countries where that sort of graft is common. Like there was a big scam targeting Chinese people from China. And it would be from the Chinese health ministry with an unpaid bill, and they would put them on to Chinese law enforcement to pay the bill. Now, if you're from China, that's not a stretch. Even if it is fake, it's not a stretch that someone from the government might, so it's not a stretch, but it was a scam that was actually, come on in. It was a scam that was hitting Canada. I haven't seen it in the U.S., but it was hitting Canada. Go ahead.
It actually has happened. It actually happened to one of my relatives.
Okay.
They were on a tourist visa, and they use that as a nice way to try to linger some money and try to get them to give some information. And unfortunately, they gave them information, and they got more than what they were giving out.
Right. Yeah. Because once they can get something, they can usually leverage that to get more. So that's, in fact, I dealt with someone who is still dealing with bank accounts.
Wow.
Because they got her email address, her email password, because it was the same as one of her other passwords that they got from her. Password reuse, don't. Make sure your passwords are different, because once they have your email address and a password, they will use that on everything. They will try B of A, they will try Wells Fargo, they will try US Bank. They will try everywhere. They will try PayPal. They will try. They'll try to use that email address and password combo everywhere. And once they get a password email combo that works anywhere, they'll likely sell it on the dark web, which means that anyone can buy it from them. And that's actually what happened to this lady. Is that she was scammed, she stopped it, and she was fine. 6 months later, her bank account started getting wiped out. And I'm pretty sure it wasn't the same one who scammed her before. Pretty sure they sold it to a much more professional group who had the resources to go after everything. So, once something bad happens and you catch it, always change all of your passwords. And change them to different things. Because as soon as they get one, they'll try it everywhere.
It's heartbreaking to hear these stories. A woman came in and $12,000 just.
Gone. Here's another one. This is email. Business. Business. Some flunky got an email from the CEO saying to ACH wire some money to someplace, $35,000, and the flunky fortunately contacted emailed the CEO and said, "Hey, I sent that money like you told me to."
Uh-oh.
The CEO immediately called his bank. The bank stopped it. His banker, his person, he's big enough that he had a banker there, told him that if he'd called 2.5 minutes later, the money would be gone and non-retrievable. So, if you've got employees, always have a very, very clear rule as to how they send out information, how they send out money.
Yeah, that's a good policy thing, right?
Yeah, it's a policy thing.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff, if you've got employees, is to set policies that, that really give clear rules. And the rule should be don't. The rule should be, if I email you something, you call me. Only allow verbal orders to send. Always have verbal confirmation. And don't accept the CEO called, because you can use AI to mimic voices and speech patterns. So you have to call the person in charge, on whatever phone number the person in charge gave you. Don't accept anything else. And that's a really good policy that will save a company a lot of money. So, if you've got employees and any of them have the keys to the bank book, they need to verbally confirm with you if anything, if you told them to give any money out to anywhere. That's, it just unfortunately happens way too often, because all they need is some email from the CEO. They'll find out how his typing patterns, how it looks when he sends something, and they can fake that up really easily.
A friend of mine was in the process of buying a property in Texas, and he was to wire transfer the down payment. And he received what it was a scam, but it had everything that it had to have. Please send the money to this account, etc., etc. To his fortune, the scammers made the mistake of using an account that was already closed. So he did send the wire, but the wire bounced back because they had used that account in another scam. So where does that start? Does that mean that the escrow company has been hacked or what?
No, it means that the public records. I mean, I'm sure you could find out who's buying the house, right? You could get a list.
Anytime you apply for a loan, if you're refining or anything, like when we've done refis, we get massive phone calls, emails, all of that because it becomes public record. So those are companies that can sell, or other people can access that kind of information. So they know you're in the process of whatever transaction it is that you're doing.
So they were able to continue a string of emails.
Right.
So they reply on one of the
Right, because
I can answer that. I'm in real estate, and so the hackers will find an email address that looks very similar, like you said earlier, very similar, and they'll continue on the chain that looks like escrow, but it's not really escrow.
Oh boy.
But who did they hack?
no, there's no hack.
There's no hack. They switched the email address.
I understand.
Very
But how did they get the string of emails?
You mean they got an email that was they responded to a previous email?
Yes.
Then
That's
then
a
it's
hack.
like that's a hack. That's a hack.
Unless they responded to one of your previous emails. But,
Yeah. Someone somewhere got hacked. Like if it was CC'd to someone, that person might, So you would have to look at all of the email addresses on the list. But yeah, a lot of this stuff is inside stuff. I mean,
That's what I
because
thought, yeah.
a minimum wage employee is offered a couple $1,000 to, to do this.
And they do it?
Oh, yeah.
Not, hopefully not. But
Usually what it is they've got an email that they responded to that they didn't realize, and now somebody else has access to their computer and their information. That's probably the more typical or common way that those types of things happen, and why they would have that much information about you is the employee made a mistake and clicked on that email that they thought was a legit email, but it actually infected their computer with the virus.
That's more acceptable.
most of those are mistakes, are employee mistakes.
Correct.
Now, I've had one financial company get majorly hacked because an employee clicked on, and I was going to go into attachments next, be very careful. Yeah, you're already shaking your head. Be very careful with attachments. The employee this is a financial company, got tax doc, some number, PDF.exe.
Oh,
So
yeah.
here's where, in this case, it was just being boneheaded because the .exe is not a PDF. Unfortunately, some settings, unless you have it set to show the extension, they'll only see the text doc some number PDF and won't see the extension sometimes. In which case, it's very easy to So it was a fake exe. It installed an installer that put on remote access software, and some Sunday, someone came in and got on their accounting software, So it makes it a much narrower field because whoever it was knew that accounting software. And the and they had the passwords for the software stuffed into their browser. So all the person had to do was get on the software and it came up for them. And they went to the seven biggest clients and filed false tax returns that had, that maximized the refund and changed the bank information so that the IRS would send the money somewhere else. Which, fortunately they had it set up so that the IRS sends progress reports. And so the owner of the company gets 7 progress reports on a Sunday and goes, no one's working that now. So he called both the FBI, the IRS, and I think Simi PD, but I don't know if the Simi PD was really involved in that. But, the IRS actually halted those returns and didn't do anything. I still don't think they actually caught the person. Yeah. Because usually they're not in the U.S. And that bank probably went away. That bank account probably went away right away. And if the money had gotten into the bank account, it would have gone from that account to another, and they'd start, closing the accounts, until the trial goes cold.
I was going to continue on with that. Yes, it happens quite often. The escrow scams and money, it just is gone, and buyers can't buy their home anymore.
Nope.
Yeah. So, so if you're sending money somewhere, call them.
Yeah.
That's.
We actually hand delivered a check once. We said that because we received a warning that there was a lot of scams on transactions for real estate.
Yeah.
And the escrow house was here in Thousand Oaks, so we just walked in and delivered the check.
2 other things as well. One is one of the reasons why you want to make sure you file your taxes early is so that you are less susceptible to somebody taking your social security number and filing taxes on your behalf. That's also a common issue. And on another side of that, when you see phone numbers that look like they're coming from your bank, so it's not just emails, but it's phone numbers. They can actually spoof a phone number so that it looks like it's coming from your bank or somebody that you know. And what you were talking about with the AI, they can actually then now take people who you know and recreate their voice in AI and can actually talk to you over the phone, and it's all sounds just like your CEO, for example. It can sound just like your CEO, and all they had to do is just maybe find 30 seconds of that CEO speaking on a topic publicly. They take that information and now can convert that and copy it into AI.
Yeah.
So it's actually AI is so scary for fraud now.
In fact, that's one of the things that's not just that, but grandparents are getting emergency messages from their grandchildren saying, we need money, and it sounds just like them.
My son called and gave me a big long lecture about that.
Yeah. Okay. So
Was it him or was it AI?
So have a code word or code phrase that only they know. I mean, chunky gerbil, something like that. No one else is going to know that phrase, especially if they're now if they have Gerbils Are Us webpage. Maybe don't choose that one, but just choose a word or word combo that is just totally unrelated to anything that you do, and have all of your kids and grandkids know that one. Heck, have employees. Tell your employees, a specific code word that you can give, so they'll know that they're talking to you. But quite frankly, if you have an employee, have them call you at your known good phone number. But in fact, your thing about the spoofing phone. Oh, go ahead.
How do you actually get the extension, like, to see a word, like, the PDF, or, like, because you said, like, a lot of times it's being extended. How do you get that from the...
Usually in the browser, it's different for different browsers, but usually in the browser security and privacy settings. Also in Windows, you can go into File Explorer options, and one of the text boxes is to always show extensions. To always click that. Always make sure that you're seeing all of the extensions. It gives 4 extra characters that makes things a little bit messier looking, but But those 4 extra characters can save your bacon. Also, your thing about the phone spoofing, I actually had 2 different people in 2 different areas, one in California, one back east, 2 different banks, got calls from phone numbers that they recognized as their local branch.
Oh,
And now here was that scam. There's a problem with your account. I need you to take out all of your money, buy gift cards with it, and then tell me, and then take photos of the card, the number on the back of the card, so that I can deposit it into a new account for you. Again, gift cards. You know, if you didn't get stopped anywhere else, as soon as gift cards are mentioned, no. Yeah. I actually stopped an elderly lady. I mean, and she was at actually Vallarta, where they have a gift card kiosk,
oh my God.
you know, vending machine, and she was on the phone with someone, and she was getting gift cards. And I told her, now she hung up that time. I don't know if they called back. I don't know if they were able to rescam her, but I did tell her, and she did hang up on them.
Okay.
So hopefully, you know, she didn't get scammed from those guys. But that is, they target the elderly, and that's, you know, because the elderly are more likely to believe stuff like that because they grew up in an era where people were more honest, or at least around here.
How unsafe is to have the passwords stored in the browsers?
If I'm on your computer, I now know all your passwords. Okay, and if someone can remote onto your computer, they now know all your passwords.
What about a password creator like
Like
Google or
Password Keeper or LastPass or, yeah, anywhere that's not stored on your computer, plus minus, okay? I'm gonna say this. The plus is that there's only one password that that you have to remember, and so that's a password that you can guard. But if someone gets that, they have all your passwords. You know, so that's the minus. Also, the minus is that those password keepers are very big targets. If someone hacks them, they've got everyone's passwords. Now they're likely encrypted. That's a speed bump. I'll just tell you this. That's a speed bump. Having stuff encrypted is a speed bump. Because all it takes is one known password in there, and they can look to see what that password is when it's encrypted, and use that to reverse engineer the encryption. Now, it might not get it fully, but once they get 2 or 3, then they can complete that algorithm and just reverse engineer stuff.
You have to be a big target for them to go to those
Right, but like Password Keeper or LastPass, those are big targets. You know, because once they get one person's out of there, they've got them all, and they won't even bother hacking them. They'll put it up on the dark web and have people pay them for them.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing. That lady who got hacked once and then 6 months later, she got majorly raked over the coals. That's probably because whoever hacked her put her info on the dark web and she didn't change her passwords or didn't change all of them. Maybe only changed the one that was affected. But then whoever bought it just bought it under the assumption that she used that password other places and used that to. And once they get your email password, then everything's screwed. Because then they can go in and do forgot password just about everywhere. And MFA, which is where they send you a code, that's good. It does not protect you from getting scammed. Here was someone got a call from his bank, I think, credit card bank, whatever, and said, just to make sure I'm talking to the right person, can you give me the code that's going to show up on your phone? Here's what had happened.
What does MFA mean?
Multi-factor authentication.
Oh, right, yeah.
Or 2FA, which is the original term for it, where you
Michelle
just,
Pascal Rama.
I'm not here.
But
Hi, I'm at that lecture at the chamber. I'll tell you that tomorrow.
okay,
So
so
it'd be smart to put it on silent second
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
around.
Do you want to put your phone on silent?
yeah.
No.
So
Side button.
what happened in this case was that someone had gotten his account, name and password, but didn't have the MFA. So they called him, tried to get him to tell them the MFA, because as soon as if he had told them, it showed up, because the guy pushed the button, it showed up on his phone. If he had told the guy on the phone the PIN code,
Game over.
then game over. Yeah,
What about the bio password?
it's the same thing.
Same thing.
If he calls you and you put that in, well, you just authenticated his session. Because if he knows your password and he got in there and is blocked by that, he calls you, because he hits the button to authenticate, you authenticate for him. So no one, in fact, they'll say in their paperwork, no one will ask you for that at any institution. No one asks you for that. You are to put that directly into the website. So if you're not sitting at your website and you get one of those, it's not, it's not real, it's not good. So that's, yeah. They're getting, so MFA is only a speed bump. And it used to be that they used to call up the phone companies and say, hey, I lost my phone. I've got this new SIM. Can you, and then they'd get all of your texts and stuff and phone calls.
Ouch.
Now the phone companies have gotten raked over the coals for this, and there are now really strict procedures for that. Now you still occasionally get a bozo working for the phone company that will allow that to happen. But it's not as common. So now, like in this case, the guy called, asked for the code. Okay, if you gave it to him, you gave it to him.
Well, it says on there, do not give this code to anyone.
Exactly.
Every time you get a code for something, it says, do not share.
But their job is to give some sense of urgency, so that here's the thing: if you're afraid or angry, you stop thinking. Your ability to reason goes down. So if they can get you afraid or get you in a state of urgency, your ability to critical think goes down. Which is almost why almost every single scam involves go fast. They're trying to create a sense of urgency so that your critical thinking goes down.
Yeah, I've heard from a long time, if they want to go fast, you go slow. Con artists do that. That's how they operate.
Yeah, in fact, here's something that if someone's talking fast to you with something, start talking slow back to them. It'll disrupt their entire rhythm. That's not cyber, that's just, over the phone, that's just... So yeah, change the rhythm, go slow. Because the faster you're going, the less critical thinking your brain can do. And if it's truly urgent, you'll be able to figure that out. Call your bank, call your credit card company, use the phone number that you've got on your card.
Call your family
If there's something going on, yeah. If you get a call from a family member or a text from a family member, then call them at their own phone number or call a family member, another family member. It's out there. Now, most people won't get targeted by that sort of thing, but if you're in an elderly community, let's say, Leisure World or whatever they're calling it nowadays, if you live there, you're probably getting these at least once a week. Because they know just by, if you're in that area, you're a likely target. If you look around your neighborhood and most of the people are over 60, likely someone's figured that out and it's going to be targeting, and it's going to be targeting people in that neighborhood. So they do that kind of research. You know, they look for elderly.
It's not even just that. It's your information is all over the internet, and you would be surprised. Your date of birth a lot of times is all over the internet. If you just Google your own name, it is amazing as to what will come up on you with your home address, your date of birth. A lot of information is publicly out there. So
Voting records.
they do target the elderly, and I mean, I have an app on my phone. I can spoof it, make any number show up on your caller ID just from my phone.
Yeah.
I do it legally and legitimately, but yes, I can. Don't look at me like that.
I'm surprised that people can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ruth, that's his job.
Yeah.
And
That's
what is
his,
your job?
I'm a private investigator.
Oh,
yeah. So,
So,
yeah.
but yes, that's how easy it is. Literally, is an app. There are a couple of apps. One of them is U.S. based. Another one, I mean, just off the top of my head, there's a Canada based one where they can't even subpoena those records from that particular company. Plus, there's a million other apps, not even just Google and stuff like that. I mean, you can get a Google phone number that's a fake number, and you can text and receive calls from that Google number, and it's yeah.
Yeah, and you can set that up in 5 minutes and then abandon it.
I got one of those too.
Yeah.
Why would they? Don't you think they would restrict that then? Or is that the whole point?
Yeah,
Just
the
that,
trouble
you know,
is
restricting
enforcing
all that?
any restriction. I mean, Google gives those phone numbers as a convenience,
Right.
and people can take advantage of that. I mean, you could go right now, spend half an hour and get 10 different phone numbers. You know, you'd have to have 10 different new Gmail accounts or something.
Or Yahoo.
Or Yahoo or whatever.
Hotmail,
Yeah.
any of those.
Do you guys see them restricting down on that in the future? Since you guys are will be more connected than we are.
I see a lot of times that the government wants to do that, but the companies,
It's not going to happen.
the companies are big enough that
Some people
they
use it
can-
legitimately, like
Yeah.
they actually use it for their business. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, if you're a business, I mean, you would
right.
get a legitimate number for your
Right.
business.
But you could also
That's
use
just me about my brain. Who knows?
Right, yeah.
Maybe.
Here's the legitimate use for it. You run your business off of your cell phone. You don't want everyone to know your cell phone number. You get this Google number, have it routed to your phone. It can do some things like it can do voicemail. It can do a lot of things outside of your phone. But let's say you're not in that business anymore. So this number that's published, well, you just simply tell Google, yeah, don't send it to this phone anymore. Okay. Now, so you're not forever getting calls based on something that you're no longer doing. So that's a legitimate use for it. You can create phone numbers for your employees, so that they can get the calls, and have them routed. There are legitimate uses
it's
for
like
it.
call forwarding.
Yeah, but with
It's an app.
Yeah, it's an app with a
literally
created
an
phone
app.
number.
I used it for multiple reasons, but I even use it sometimes for giving out to potential spam. That they're going to market me. I know, but I want to be able to receive the text or whatever initially, but I don't want them to keep hounding me on my regular cell phone. So I've done that.
Yeah.
And so
I know someone who creates a new phone number for every website that requires his phone number.
Oh my God.
And
that's a little anal.
yes, and I will not say his name because I'm going to be I'm recording this. But what it means is that he knows where his phone numbers get sold to and who sold them. And that's why he originally started doing it. Now he's got over 100 phone numbers.
Well, it's the same thing too when you use an email address. You can actually use iCloud will hide your email address. So a lot of times what you want to do is you can use that website's name as part of the iCloud and email address, and it will forward to your email, and then if that comes back, then where it was sold from, what website. So I do that a lot of times for certain.
Yeah, and that's where if you really want to go down the tinfoil hat route, I can take you there. I just consider it too much effort most of the time. Now, if you've got enough money that you have people for that, one, you're a target, but you've also got people for that, so they can do that work for you. let's see.
Just don't trust anyone.
Yeah. Also, yeah. Yeah.
Well, unless you're face to face or you know. I mean,
Right.
There's a saying, trust but verify.
Yes, exactly. And if you can't see them, you don't know that it's them.
Yes.
You know. Also, links in emails. One, no bank will give you a link to your account, unless someone changed their policy just recently. I don't know if you've seen that, but I haven't seen it.
Well, they'll give you a link to their main website.
Right.
That's the problem.
Yes.
So it's not going to give you a link to their account, but what it'll do is it'll give you a link to what appears to be their main website.
Right.
And even up on the address bar, they can actually make it temporarily show the legitimate
Yep.
URL for that
Right.
particular bank, even, and you
Right.
think it is, and you're logging in.
Right.
Always manually type it in. Do
Yes.
never click a link, even if it looks like it's legit.
Yeah.
So, I think I heard a contradiction, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
A bank will send you a link under one circumstance?
No, so what they'll do is they won't send you, what he's saying is they won't send you a link directly to your account. But what they may do is they go,
Yeah.
log into your account, chase.com,
Okay.
and it
And
shows
then
chase.com. Now you click on that, it says chase.com, looks like chase.com. The problem is that they'll have an embedded URL that looks like it, but it'll redirect you,
Right.
and then the whole web
Right.
page looks like chase.com, but
Yeah.
it's actually
so,
not.
So never click on a link in an email.
Yeah.
You know, the main thing is type it in,
Yes.
because they can take it. Now you can, most of the time you can hover over the link and see the URL of where it's going,
Correct.
and that only gets the sloppy ones. If they really know what they're doing, they can do, what he said, and basically fake the URL. I know 3 different ways to do that. One of them is really weird, and it involves something that's in the format that really shouldn't be. There's a code, an ASCII code, that will tell it to take the reverse of everything that follows. Why is that in ASCII? Why does anyone implement that? But it's there. It's like, when I found that one, I thought, that's stupid. And it is, but it's there.
Describe what ASCII is briefly. I don't
Oh.
remember the acronym, but
I don't remember the acronym, but it's, every
That's
single
ChatGPT.
letter and character that you can type on a computer has a 4-digit code.
except
Code
for
number.
the sense signs.
Right, yeah. But so
ASCII
that,
has no sense.
yeah. So that code is an ASCII code, because ASCII is some association that created those codes.
Is that ones and zeros? ASCII?
Well, it's
No.
Okay.
it's four digits of hex. So it's
Hexadecimal.
one
What's
through F, or 0 through F.
Okay. Oh, yeah, okay.
But so that's an awful lot of characters. Now, here's the fun things that you can do with ASCII codes, and you can learn how to type them in and create the characters from them, or you can get foreign characters that way. Let's say you need the character for a yen. Well, you go look up the table, and you can get the ASCII code for that and type that in, and it'll produce that symbol. Here's where it gets fun. The lowercase a in English is very similar to a character in Cyrillic.
Yes.
If you put in the ASCII code for that Cyrillic character, and put it in like chase.com, well, for one thing, it's going to a website that isn't Chase, but it looks like Chase. If you click on
Even
it,
the @ sign?
no, the A itself. There's a Cyrillic character that looks very much like that A. There's also one that looks like an E.
Don't worry, you'll never do that.
Yeah. Yeah. You'll never use it,
Don't worry
but
about
someone could use it, so don't click. As
Don't
long as,
click, yeah.
yeah,
Don't
just as
click
long as
any
you don't
links.
click,
Bottom line.
it won't affect you.
Most likely you have them in your favorites anyway.
Exactly. And that's actually good. It reduces typos.
It's
One thing that they do is typo-squatting.
it's
Let's say
two separate things.
Chase, they'll look for the characters that are around the A and try to reserve the URLs for, for those, for anyone that mistypes. And, so they'll try to do that so that they're not targeting anyone, but anyone who mistypes the URL that way goes to their website, which will look just like the Chase website. Now, all of the big companies like Chase and all of them try to look for every way that you could typo their name, and they reserve those. In fact, if they find one out there and it's already reserved, they can go to ICANN and say, hey, this is, this is a typo squat.
Suspicious.
And say, we want it, and they can get it.
Oh, good.
It's a simple email to them. ICANN will investigate for like 2 minutes and send it. Which means that if your name is very close to a big name, you'll likely lose it real fast. If you've got a website. And that's happened a lot. To people who had legitimate websites that just got yanked because it was close enough, that it looked like it could be typo-squatting. At least that's what the big company says. They just don't want anything, So in general, do not click.
No clicky.
Yeah.
Before you wrap up, you got one more last thing on your list. See
Yeah.
if anybody else wants to sign up for the Zoom on the January the 7th.
Oh, what time is it?
We'll do updating for this kind of information and more questions
Yeah,
can be asked. And it's a Zoom call, so anybody can be
Yeah,
anywhere.
it's a Zoom meeting, and I will do essentially this. Although I'll have more of like, what have I seen recently, and then it'll go to Q&A.
You'll send us a link.
Well, yes. It's a Zoom link, you're right.
Yes, but it does not go to your bank.
You can always call us and ask if we sent that
There you
Zoom
go.
link.
Yes, yeah.
Well, one question: is it 100%? Not 100%, but is it safe to use the hotspot on the phones?
Good question.
What's a hotspot?
Your telephone typically can give internet access to a laptop.
Oh,
Yes.
I use that all the
As long
time.
as your
It's actually
password.
much safer than using someone else's Wi-Fi.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use that.
Because they would have to fake a whole cell tower to do that. It's doable. It is doable. They can do a man in the middle and fake a cell tower. That takes a whole lot more than just faking a Wi-Fi.
I want to tell you something as well that you may or may not be aware of. There is a way that the bad guys can see what Wi-Fi's you have targeted, that you have accessed in the past. And what they can actually do is create a fake Wi-Fi with, let's say you go travel and you're logging into the Hilton guest Wi-Fi. They can actually see on your phone that you've previously logged into the Hilton guest Wi-Fi and create a fake guest Hilton Wi-Fi that your phone will automatically connect to. And then they can actually access, I don't know if you had heard of that, they then can now have total access to everything that you do through your phone.
Yeah, so... Yeah.
So
yeah.
the good-
I've been avoiding some of the really out there nightmare stuff, but yes, that is something that they can do. I mean, especially if you're a target type person.
Right.
I mean, they're not going to do this for Joe Random.
The good rule, how you avoid that is you go into your history on all of your Wi-Fi's and you delete your previous history of anything that you've connected to. And also when you set up and you connect to a Wi-Fi, do not click that a Wi-Fi that's a guest Wi-Fi. Do not click on join automatically.
Yeah, do not auto connect.
Auto connect, yes.
Yeah. Do not have it join automatically, because that might be convenient, but the bad guys are relying on your wanting convenience.
So the Starbucks and McDonald's is
Very
Wi-Fi
bad.
is
Very
no,
bad.
No.
Oh, because anyone can be on there, and it doesn't take much to see all of your traffic. I mean, a VPN would help.
Yes.
In fact, that's one of the good uses for a VPN. most of the time VPN is oversold.
Explain to them what a VPN is.
Virtual.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay,
Yeah.
not everybody knows what a VPN
Yeah,
is.
okay.
You can set up a VPN on your phone easily. The downside to having a VPN is it will sometimes restrict your access to some bank accounts and things, some sort of sensitive data. And then you have to turn off your VPN to access it and then turn it back on.
Right. Yeah. So what it does is it encrypts a connection from your device, your phone, your computer, whatever, to a server somewhere. And so if it's part of a network, then then it's part of a network. But as far as anyone else can see, so the website that you're accessing it from that server. So your privacy is protected. Now it does not protect you from, if you go to a bad website, you've got an encrypted connection to that bad website. So that's, it's sold as protection. It's not necessarily protection, but it's for privacy.
It's never going to be 100%.
Yeah, nothing is 100%. If someone who's really targeting it, I mean, even the best, let's say Microsoft, they've got huge buildings full of people who are designed to protect it. They get hacked because there are multiple buildings of people trying to do it. There are always more bad guys than there are good guys. So it's a numbers game.
I don't think so.
Well, in any
We don't want to leave it that
I
way.
think there's lots of good people
Yeah,
out there.
but
Just
not
don't
all the
think
good
that
people
all-
are trying to keep Microsoft from getting hacked.
Well, and if something happens to you, give us a call. Cards are here to give us a video.
Yeah. Oh,
805.
805-584-9199. Or, yeah, I won't give my email over that. So 805-584-9199.
Yeah, seriously, if you got a question, call.
And I can make his number show up on your caller ID.
But if she calls us,
And take the audio from that and actually clone your voice.
right? Like,
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
so much out there now.
It's,
That's
AI is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Yes.
the
So
last
even-
one on your
even-
list. What
even-
else do you got for
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, AI. Now, everyone talks about, there's a lot of hype about what AI can do. You don't have to worry about Skynet. AI isn't trying to take over the world because, for one thing, AI does not
Trump's going to
think.
do that for us.
Right. Yeah. AI does not think. It can't.
Sorry.
It can't. It doesn't have a want. It doesn't have a desire. It gets some input. It gets a question that says, "Go to this input and give me an answer." That's all AI is at the moment. I mean,
At the moment.
could we do something like that's more than that? Maybe. That's decades away. It doesn't want anything. So AI isn't going to be hacking you. But someone, in fact, very rarely is AI actually used for hacking. It's more used for mimicking people, even video. I mean, you've all seen AI-generated video. Currently, it does a bad job on eyes and eyebrows. If you look at the eyes and eyebrows and the way they move,
But it's real close.
It's
but
real
it's
close.
real close to
It's
being
getting-
perfect.
yeah, and it's getting better and better.
Scary.
Yeah, but currently, the AI tends to, at least for some people, fall into the uncanny valley, where it looks almost right, but there's something, you feel that there's something off. But it's getting better.
In 6 months, it'll probably be
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
That's how fast it's growing.
Yeah.
I mean, it is
Yeah.
that.
Well, yeah.
That's
So
faster than Moore's Law, the 18 months.
yeah, so AI can be used
Yeah,
to help
that's
mimic people or mimic things. It's not so good at hacking into websites and stuff like that. Maybe in the future, but not right now.
Seems to have patterns. Some of the things
Just
we
ask
watch.
ChatGPT if it is.
It'll tell you the answer that they want to.
Of course.
Yeah. And that's just it. It'll tell you an answer. No, when AI tells you an answer,
Verify.
it's an answer. It's not the answer. Had someone ask for a weather chart from 1967, because he happened to have one, from a specific day on location on 1960, and it gave him a weather chart that looked legit. It had nothing to do with what actually was there. But it gave you an answer that you would accept. Didn't give you the correct answer. It gave you an answer you would accept.
It's funny because you can respond and give the correct answer, and they say, "Oh, you're absolutely right."
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
exactly. It will.
It acts like it's your best friend, which is
Yes.
it cracks me up.
Crazy.
Well, there's people that have relationships with their AI, with
Yes.
ChatGPT.
Oh, those types of people have been around for 40 years almost.
Some of my best clients.
I mean,
It was their dog in
I
their
mean,
car before that.
even
So.
even badly scripted chatbots, people have had relationships with. I mean, and those are badly scripted chatbots.
Yeah.
I mean, I was in college when that was happening. I mean, let's see, fake URLs. If you have to search, if you have to search something, this got someone else. If you have to search something, always look at the URL that's in the search, that comes up in the search. Ignore any of the sponsors, for one thing, because they're paid ads. You don't know where they're going necessarily, and they're paid to show what they're paid to show. Always go past that, and always verify. Someone got screwed over because they said, Alexa, give me Microsoft's tech support number.
Oh yeah.
Now, here's the thing: you cannot visually verify any of the information that's given by Alexa. It tells you something and you believe it, or you don't. But in this case, someone had done search engine poisoning on Alexa, and she called Microsoft tech support based on Alexa, and they got into her computer, and basically that caused a lot of problems. So always, if you do a search, skip the sponsors, go and look at where it's sending you, and don't trust. And I'm not picking on Alexa. It can happen on Siri. It can happen on, the Google one. It just don't trust the verbal for that kind of information, because you can't do any kind of research on it.
Two other things. One is if you're going to any type of what you believe is a government website, make sure it ends in .gov.
Yep.
.gov, yeah.
Yeah, .gov, and not .gov dot something.
Right. Okay.
Ends in .gov.
Okay.
The other thing as well is make sure that it's a secure. Anything you go to, make sure it's a secure site. So you always want to see up at the top bar the little lock
HTTPS.
icon, and there says HTTPS.
Yeah, it's the S on the HTTP that
Yes.
tells you it's secure.
Yes.
Also, and here's something that's not as important anymore, but I'll just bring it up. What's before the .com, or what's right before the .com, is what matters. If you're going to something.microsoft.com, you're going to Microsoft. If you're going to Microsoft.something.com, you're going somewhere else. So that's another one that you don't see that as much anymore, but that's.
I think
that's
there
really
used to be a thing for the White House, and it was a porn site.
Yeah, yeah.
How many
It's a
times did you
school.
go to that one?
Research purposes, right, Ruth? Research only.
Rumor.
Yeah.
It was a rumor.
Was it?
Okay.
I don't think so.
Couldn't get out of it. I just
Any
heard a
other
rumor.
questions?
I just
Great
had a
job.
quick question.
Sure.
Would you recommend like a browser like Firefox or DuckDuckGo over like Google Chrome or something?
Okay. This gets some of this is my opinion, okay? I'll just preface it that way. They all collect your information.
Yep.
The question is, who do you want to be collecting your information? Mozilla actually admitted that they collect the information, even though they had said that they don't. So, Google, which does Chrome, and Microsoft, which does Edge, which is actually Chrome, just so you know, those are big companies. Mozilla is a smaller company. DuckDuckGo is an even smaller company. Would you rather have a big company or a small company know your information? I mean, that's essentially it. I mean, even the private browsing window means that other websites, other tabs, don't know what that tab's doing. But Google, Microsoft, Mozilla, they know exactly what's going on even in the private tabs. So it's not, so just pick your poison, essentially. Decide who you want to have your information.
Right.
I mean, because they'll have it. That's, yeah, go ahead.
How about the password on a Windows-based laptop? The password that you get to log into your laptop.
Okay,
How
GPS coordinates.
crackable is that?
GPS coordinates.
5 minutes.
Is that right?
Most of that time is spent rebooting your computer twice. I've carried in my
It's the
pocket
badge you should not have a tattoo. I know.
because, I work on computers. Sometimes I need to get in but yeah, 5 minutes.
The locksmith, sometimes they have to crack them.
Yeah. So it's the password on your computer is as secure as the lock on your front door. That's the security for your computer. If you have a laptop and you leave it somewhere, if you glance away and come back, probably no one's messed with it. If you leave it on the table and walk away, go to the bathroom or something, you never know. So I'm just saying that, put a password on your laptop. You don't necessarily need one on your desk computer, because if they can get their hands on your desk computer, they're in. It's just there's no security on a desktop computer that isn't stronger than the lock on your front door. I mean,
And how about
there is. You could do it. It's just it'd make it harder to use your computer. Most people don't want to go through that nonsense.
How about the antivirus that now is, for the past couple of years or 4 years, it's been recommended not to buy an antivirus and use the Windows security.
Of course, first Microsoft says that.
Yeah.
And to be perfectly honest, Windows Defender is actually pretty darn good. If you're going for if it's a choice between Microsoft Defender or Windows Defender and like a $10 antivirus company or a free antivirus, go with the Defender. But if you're going to pay for something, go for a legit company, and they have a lot more resources to put toward it. But Microsoft Defender is actually pretty good.
But like, for example, a Norton or something like that you pay about $100 a year or something.
I would, if you're going that route,
For which?
Norton. He said
Oh.
Norton. I mean, it's
I'm old school. I kind of like Norton, but I know you probably. And that's okay. You can bag on Norton. Don't. I'm not going to be offended. It's all good. I know.
there was a time when it was really, really atrocious, and it was known as the Norton virus. But because they wouldn't let you uninstall it either. But it was really bad. They've cleaned their act up.
Yeah.
But I would actually, if you're really that concerned, especially for a company, go for Endpoint security.
Which one?
Endpoint security.
Endpoint?
It's a service that different providers can provide. But in that case, there's a whole team there monitoring, and your computer will talk to the security provider, and any activity that looks not legit will raise a red flag. So your information's out there somewhere, but it's with a security company, and they're monitoring to make sure that nothing bad happens. And so if you really, like if you've got a company with like 10 computers and you want to make sure that, that your employees don't click on the wrong thing, that's where I would go. And there are a number of different companies that offer that. And if you talk to me, I can point to one that might work for you.
What's your opinion on Malwarebytes?
As long as you're not running the active version of it,
Oh, okay.
and here's the thing, they always install the active version.
Right.
If you uninstall it, it'll give you the option of leaving the inactive version, which is, the inactive version does not turn off Windows Defender.
Okay.
And it'll sit there, and you can have it do a scan every once in a while. Having a second set of eyes doing a scan is always a good thing. Because I run 5 different antivirus, when I'm cleaning up a computer.
Right.
Because here's one, here's another one, and it's just, it gets this much more. And between 5 of them, some of them will catch things that others don't. Not much. Most of it's overlap, but every once, there's a little bit of not overlap. So always having a second pair of eyes isn't bad.
You had one yesterday, right? You got to the fourth or fifth one, and I was like, ooh, looky there.
Yeah, well, that's where I did a deep offline scan. So yeah, I expected to find more stuff. So
Well, thank
Okay.
you very much.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you so
informative.
much.
Thank you for
Yes.
being here.